And welcome back to The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs. I am here with AIW owner, president, booker man, all things of that sort, Mr. John Thorne. Thorne, look at us. We did it 2 weeks in a row, coming at you, back-to-back weeks. We said we'd do it, and we did.
Yeah, I've even won a presidential election, I guess.
Yeah, right. Well, no, you're not the president of AIW?
That's Matt Wadsworth, brother.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Wadsworth is the president. You're the owner. What?
I don't know. I gotta come up with like a flow chart of responsibilities and titles, maybe.
I always forget that because Wadsworth, he's the historian as well too. Wadsworth knows it all. Sorry about that.
EVP of sound.
Yes. Everybody's got titles nowadays. So yeah, sorry about that, EVP. Mr. Wadsworth. But yeah, we're back. Look at us, we promised the fans to be back. We're going to try and be more on time with this, more timely manner, and here we are, making good.
Not only are we back, I did, ahead of schedule, produce some Patreon content as well. There were 2 uploads to the AIW Patreon special podcast since we said that we would start it next week. I busted out the equipment and was able to get, I think I recorded 3 in total. 2 have been uploaded so far. And then I did a special Q&A for the Patreon that will be uploaded on Friday.
Yeah, and I mean, they sounded great. The new equipment that you got, it sounded crisp. Everything was really, it sounds fantastic. So seems like it's pretty easy, kind of just plug and play. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to the stuff that we had before. It's just a little bit more updated. And then, I ended up, I purchased a bundle, so it came with different mics than we were using and all that sort of stuff. But I just wanted to give it a little dry test run. And I was really interested in doing it at the school because the school is awful for content creation because, obviously it's loud with the wrestling training going on. And then it's also an active gym that just has rap music or mid-90s hardcore metal music blasting at all times. You know what I mean? You can go from Snoop Dogg to Hatebreed real quick.
Who do you think's on that playlist? Who's in charge of that over there?
I don't know. Nobody knows. So it's just but it's never end. When we have seminars and stuff, the instructors are always like, "Can we get that music turned down?" We're like, "No, we can't."
I wish.
I don't even know where to go for that.
That's so funny.
So I wanted to do a test run and see see how usable the audio is with the new equipment. Recording stuff at the school because it's easy to just go up to school and grab a couple people and, knock out a 25-minute, 30-minute special podcast. So that was my little test run. I did it last Thursday and, you listened to it. You said it sounded pretty decent. So
yeah,
you're really the first feedback I'm getting. I didn't ask anybody, but I guess maybe I should, sound off. Let me know if you're on the $5 tier of the Patreon, what you thought of the new podcast and how they sounded.
Well, I mean, I think with those dynamic mics, you're only getting kind of what you talk right into it. You can hear some of that stuff in the background, but it's not overwhelming. You hear it, and you can tell they're at training. You can hear some of the bumps and stuff. You hear the guys in the background. But to me, it was never overwhelming, fuck, what is this background noise? You know what I mean?
Right, a little ambiance maybe.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You can tell that a wrestling school, but it was never over the top where I was like, damn it, can we turn that down? But you can hear it, especially every once in a while there's a bump, somebody hitting the mat, yada, yada, but I thought it sounded good.
Yeah, I figured, if we're going to, especially on Friday, we're going to try to bust out a bunch of stuff. I know, I might I might cut you loose with some of it a little bit, depending on how much time we have Friday. But I just wanted to get a little ahead of the game and start, banking some of that content and, getting people accustomed, and subscribing back to the Patreon, letting them know that we're going to be having, a lot more stuff coming down the pipe here soon. Not only podcasts, but, we're working on, several different kind of aspects of adding more stuff to that because, rightfully so, we did lose quite a bit of patrons over the last few months. So, it's just one of those things that I think that we have to focus on, and we have to build back up to where it was. I think, I'm committed to it. And I think now that we have kind of, people like you on board, and, people are more aware of, we want to produce this additional content, it'll be, it'll be in a lot more people's minds on a show day besides mine, who's like trying to focus on a zillion different things. And I go, oh, fuck, I wanted to get Patreon podcasts too.
Take the podcast equipment out. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing too. I got to come up with something. I know Derek's got his director's chair. I got to come up with a little gimmick here for my background podcast, for the podcast backstage stuff. But that's definitely something we're going to do.
Sounding off with the sound man.
Sounding off with the sound man.
Sound off. Sound off.
That is good, because then you don't even really have to have a huge, you can go anywhere with that.
You just say, hey, sound off on this topic, Arthur MacArthur, and, see how he feels about donuts or something.
I think that's definitely the direction we're going to go on Friday. That's for sure. I'm writing that down.
I think that, that's just what's interesting about the Patreon is like, so many different, and so many people, try to, they can try to be hosts. They can, they can get different things out of. You can have the same person be interviewed by, 5 different people, and you're going to get 5 completely different, podcasts and, types of content.
Sure. And another thing we said too, we kind of threw that out there to the wrestlers for, putting out vignettes and promos and stuff. I've seen already a handful of promos from a lot of people. The bulking season promo was, you got a big pop from me on that one as a a big Office Space fan. That was a good one for me to see them. They're going the rubber match now with 9 to 5, and that callback to the Office Space scene with that song, and that was very good. I like that one a lot. Josh
Michael Bolton on it.
Michael Bolton. Oh, great. Josh Prohibition delivered a great promo, as always does. There was a lot. Mr. Wes Barkley had a great promo. There's been a lot, and I feel like we threw it out there to a lot of guys, and a lot of guys made it happen.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably see some more people drop some stuff this week as well. So, it's just kind of like we said last week, trying to, refocus on a lot of these things that have been, kind of pushed to the wayside a little bit. It is really getting down, down to business. We've had, this is like our first, full year, you know what I mean? Right back, with no interruptions again, because for COVID. So, I feel like, we've gotten through those little, those little checkpoints and those little hurdles, cause it was like, the first, 2021, it was like do a couple shows, start, stop, be prepared to stop, you know what I mean? And then we came out, with a regular schedule for 2022.
We came out guns blazing in 2022.
Well, that's because, honestly, it was like there was always that thought that like, the train's going to get derailed somewhere along the way. So we might as well, just pump them out. And, if it falls off, it was like all about getting volume, you know what I mean? And just because we had so much, indecisiveness, throughout the pandemic, and then, knock on wood, like nothing got derailed, and we just ended up having a shit ton of shows.
Yeah, I think you kind of booked some of those, especially the bought shows, in a way where it was like, well, if one or two of them falls through here or there, we'll still be able to be fine. The ship will be, if you get a cancellation here or there because of COVID flare up or anything like that. But then they all just went off without a hitch. Nothing was canceled, and we just ran like 15 shows through the summer, which is kind of another thing with the point of putting out these podcasts and Patreon and a lot more of the content. We are now through the summer. If you're a fan of AIW, know this summer we had a lot of dates, and now that we're through that, we're into the fall, now going into winter. Now is kind of when we're hunkering down, and we're going to be producing this content and putting it out there, because there's not going to be as many shows every month. So we want to keep you there, keep you with us, let you know what's going on in AIW.
Right. And, it's just with all that, with getting the full year under our belt, you know what I mean? Like, we never fully committed to, like all the additional, kind of the spider web of AIW, which is the Patreon and the, pushing more promos and pushing more stories and, doing all this different things. And now I feel like, hopefully we're not going to be disrupted, for another pandemic flare up or anything like that. I think, enough people have been vaccinated and, hopefully we're beyond it. And now we can kind of, get back to, getting the rest of everything on track.
Right.
And, it was weird because, even we've done a few, but not many in-person podcasts since the pandemic. So it was weird, like, lugging all this equipment up to the school and like setting it all up. And it was just like a strange feeling, but it felt like, back to normal. So I think we're going to try to get stuff at the school or at the shows, as well as, every now and then I'm going to pop up to the school, undercover boss style and just start
pop in there.
Drop some content.
Yeah, I like it. Well, so why don't we get into this week's coming show? We still tickets available for Hell on Earth coming up this Friday, Black Friday at 4 Sports in Eastlake, Ohio. We're pushing Fight TV. It's big. If you're not in the area, you can't get to the show. Eastlake's a little far for you, or all of our out-of-state, fans. We are now on Fight TV, Fight Plus, $4.99 a month. You get all the live stuff and all the catalog of AIW. Plus, I think isn't there a free trial too? You get like a week or something. So
yeah, I think they got a 7-day free trial going on. Spoke to the people with Fight today about starting to get the archives transferred over. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. We kind of got on board a little prematurely before they were going to do this big push with like GCW and Black Label and Glory Pro and all the other companies that have joined the service since we did, and we announced it in late September.
Right.
They have like had a transition of who was in charge of all of that stuff as far as migrating the library over. So I spoke with somebody today, and I gotta get all this fucking shit on a spreadsheet, and it sounds very time consuming. So I at least have kind of a instruction now that they have the new person in place and all that, and we are going to start getting things transferring over, hopefully here in the next week or two, to get some more AIW shows up on Fight Plus. Obviously, with the $4.99, you get all the Black Label streams, all the GCW streams, all the Glory Pro streams. So, and I know that there's more promotions coming, as well as all the AIW streams. And go ahead.
You got to think that $4.99 a month, that's good in my book just for the live shows. I mean, some companies prior to this, some other ones were charging a pretty penny for just one pay-per-view. And they'd had multiple a month. Now for $5, you get all those companies you just named, all their lives for $5 a month. That to me alone is worth the price. Then plus, like you said, with all the archives that are be coming in, I mean, $4.99 a month is pretty good, even if you're on a tight budget.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine with that. They're. I don't know what their business plan is, but I would think that eventually, I don't know how they could charge that little, right? But I think maybe if it's a volume thing and they're looking for a huge volume of subscribers, it's gonna work for everybody. You know what I mean? And so far things have looked pretty good for us on the financial end of things. As far as our first kind of month on the service, the reports were pretty good. I know I've had some people inquire about like, hey, I want to sponsor you, but I want to know these numbers and this and that. They don't necessarily provide us like X amount of people have watched. None of the streaming services are like that. It's all a little different. So, we are, and this is a good time to plug this. Jim, EVP of, fucking, I don't know what he's an EVP of right now, but he's an EVP. EVP Coach Jimmy mergers, acquisitions, and sponsorships, EVP Coach Jimmy. He is heading up. We've never really sought out sponsors, and we've had some deals pop up here and there. Like Royal Docs, approached us for Absolution. We've had some people approach us throughout the years, but he's really kind of trying to head up, getting sponsors. This is the thing that every local indie across, the world does is, they get all these sponsors. We've just never had time to do it. And Jim is really out there kind of, he's having meetings and things like that. And
it's so weird you keep calling him Jim.
Well, nobody knows what I'm talking about. EVP Coach Jimmy,
Yeah.
Nobody knows who that is. But if you are interested in sponsoring AIW, you can email jim@aiwrestling.com and set up a meeting or get some information. But one of the things that people keep asking is they want to know exact numbers for the streams, and IWTV didn't give that. Fight didn't give that. They all kind of keep the subscriber number and all that stuff kind of, under wraps. So, it's not necessarily information that we have readily available to give you if you want to sponsor us, because we're on Fight TV now, which, we've had a few people reach out about. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up, because I don't know the numbers really. It's a lot of very complicated reports, and they say you've made this much. So I just look at that. I look at the final, I look at the dollar amount at the end of the report, and that looks good to me. So
fair enough.
That's a long way of saying, like, I don't know, and a lot of people that want to sponsor want to know that information. We don't have that readily available, but you have to think, right? Like $4.99 a month. All of these really top tier independent promotions, you have to think that there's quite a bit of subscribers. You know what I mean? Like, common sense would say that there's quite a bit of subscribers.
It's got to be. I mean, you got to figure Fight TV is a large platform. They've been around for a long time. There is wild shit. You can watch like crazy ass kickboxing and shit on there. There's like MMA, which is another thing too to kind of push it, which is funny because we have a lot of people, a lot of fans of pro wrestling are watching MMA and stuff like that. So I mean, the amount of content you're getting for $4.99, yeah, it's got to be. They got to have a lot of people watching this shit.
Men's rugby league,
wild shit.
I get all these crazy. Bare knuckle boxing.
The bare knuckle shit is what's crazy. These dudes are beating the piss out of each other.
And some of this stuff, I know some of the the MMA and the boxing stuff falls under the Fight Plus service as well. So they have a huge footprint, globally. So you just have to think, like, it is a pretty well established brand, and
right.
So far so good. I just want to start getting some of our some of our archive content up there, because I know people are asking for it. You know what I mean? So we are working on all that. I wanted to give that was a little bit of all over the place rant.
Okay.
And, little EVP Coach Jimmy plug.
One show, give me one show if they were like the first choice, first ballot pick for what show you'd put up in the archives in the last 5 years. What show? You got one you could just...
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, see, now you're getting complicated. I just wanted to go from, like, newest to oldest.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, is there anything in your mind that you're like, no, I'd have to get this one? I don't know.
See, like, I'm bad at that, when I was just on the road with Pedro when we went to go get that ring and cage, we were in the car for, like 12 hours. And, he was asking me stuff like that, like, what's your favorite show ever? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because, like, I don't think like that. I'm always thinking about the next one and, like, the next 5 or whatever it is. So, like, I never really go, like, you know what? That's the best show that's ever happened. I'm really bad at that because I don't know. It's hard to, like, I live it in a different way than most people do. Yeah. So it's like, I don't look back and go, that was the greatest show ever, because, like, something, it could be the greatest in-ring show ever, but something like a million shitty things could have happened backstage, and like I fucking hate the entire thought of the show. You know what I mean?
That's what stands out. Yeah, you see the negatives much more glaringly than the positives on most things. Yes,
or that it did bad, or you know what I mean? Like we lost money, or there's so many different factors for me to go. Like I can't go like this is the greatest AIW in-ring show ever. You know what I mean? It's just, it's hard. Like that's a question for a fan or somebody that's not me. I don't know how to answer that question.
See, I think I would go the Wrestle Rager where you guys had the death match with the tubes. That encapsulated a lot of what AIW is. The energy that is at now, that's class. That outdoor energy was great. There was deathmatch stuff at the end, which doesn't happen all the time, but there was just such a wide array of wrestling and just what the show was. If I had to just throw one on there to get a bunch of people like, hey, this is AIW for the most part in this general way. Check this show out, and then it goes from there. I would do that one.
This sounds like a topic for maybe your other podcast, Pod Van Dam, to debate. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't really know how to do it. Like it's just it's so different for me. And like
sure.
And like I look back at every show and I go, man, like you've like. I'll look at the lineups and go, man, like that looks like it was an awful show. And like, it's like one of the hottest shows, you know what I mean? And it's like, you forget all of the different stories or reasonings for the matchups and how they, you know what I mean? Like if you just go look back on paper at results and you go, that doesn't look that great. You know what I mean? And like, there's so many different factors that go into making it memorable besides, the results or the in-ring or how it looked on paper. So yeah, it's real difficult for me to do because I think every show could be improved in some way. It's funny, they were like at the school the other day and some people were talking about I don't know, like how some wrestlers like really buy into certain things. And, Dom was like, luckily the AIW school has, had Chandler Biggins and John Thorne, who are the most like, this is reality motherfuckers, like people on earth. And like, they're like, we never got to get too excited or dream these grandiose things because, you guys would pull us aside and say, hey, you still got to go to work on Monday. Like,
yeah, right.
It sounds mean, but they were. Dom was, essentially saying that, like, we kept people grounded in a business where people like are easily, off in the clouds. And I'm the same way on myself when I look at shows and stuff like that. I go, oh man, that sucked. That could have been better. That we could have did this thing better. I'm never really looking at the positives of too much stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of your job. That's your place as the booker, man. You always got to strive for better and say, hey, it could have been better. Otherwise you get complacent and boring. So.
Yeah, I think everything is even the best. Whatever you tell me the best in-ring AIW show is, I could find probably 10 things that weren't great about it. So that's a long answer to say I don't know. If I had to pick one show to put on Fight, I don't know what it would be.
Fair enough. All right, well, speaking of one show, you want to start getting into this card here for Friday? What do you think?
It's hard sell, baby. We got to sell some tickets. We are. I said, as I said last week, we were doing very well, but we are like nowhere near the pace of the last two Hell on Earths. So to put that in perspective, you know what I mean? It's like, it's doing well for like a regular show, but it's not at the Hell on Earth levels of the last. Two, and I understand that there were some big signings and things like that helped contributed to that. We weren't able to. I tried a million people to try to get for a big meet and greet, and nothing lined up, unfortunately. So I still think it's going to do good. I just don't know if it's going to hit that, that humongous Hell on Earth draw that we usually get, which has me a little bit nervous, but we still do have quite a few days to go. So I'm hopeful that we can see a big run this week on tickets.
Do you think the Fight TV has a little bit to do with it at all? I mean, that is a pretty $4.99 to stay home and just watch it online. I mean, that's kind of a hard deal to beat. Some people are couch warriors. They're like, man, $4.99, I can watch this thing live. You know what I mean? That's might be contributing a tad bit, because that is quite a price point. As you said, I don't know how they charge so little.
We saw that with IWTV too, and like I saw stuff like that more for Odeon shows, or be like, I don't want to go to downtown. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, Adam Laporta and all these people that never would come to the Odeon.
He's a dad now. He's got dad business to do. He can't be. He's got that little baby girl. He can't be.
I got to call him out though.
I have not seen him for a minute. He gets out to these heavy metal shows all the time.
He came to Absolution.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Let's
but
get you out there, Laporta.
I don't know if Fight contributes to it. I definitely think the big signing name really pushes people over the edge. You know what I mean? To come out.
Yeah, I think that maybe helps with the lapse fan as well. Some of these older guys who are like, oh, you know what, that'll get them out too sometimes, I think.
I'm hopeful, we do have a lot of the newer people on the show. I'm hopeful, that, they can have a good showing of support in the crowd, because that, that really helps them, kind of become contagious with the regular fans. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
If they have enough support, it's clapping is infectious at a live event like that.
I mean, not only that, but you got to think about Chuck Stone was a great one. Chuck and his dad, some of those moments that they had winning those belts and the strive
right.
and the fight to win those belts. I feel like Chuck and his dad endeared a lot of people to bulking season and some of that stuff like that. So yeah, that's what you're saying. When you have family there, when you got friends, right? It's wrestling. It's infectious. You get some people, that you see somebody's family and they're like, it's like their first wrestling show and it brings you back. And you're like, fuck, dude, hell yeah! Like they are feeling it right now. Like I love that, and then all of a sudden you're
right.
on their side because you're like cheering for them as well, and it's very infectious.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful, for stuff like that. I'm hopeful for a big walk up, because one thing we have been noticing is, when you come further out of COVID, the pre-sale goes down because Cleveland notoriously is known through all of entertainment fields as a walk-up town.
Yeah.
So, it's and we've seen, the pre-sales going down, but the walk-up doing well the last several months. So, I'm hopeful for a big walk-up on Friday, too. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that make that last-minute decision, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I went shopping, it sucked, what are we going to do? I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, there's wrestling tonight. Let's go see wrestling.
Let's go have a beer. Get some rest. I mean, like Four Sports, they got beer there. They got a concession stand.
They got a full bar.
They got a full bar.
I actually talked to them today. They're like, what do you need from us? I said, I just need you guys to have that bar open. That's about it. Like that. That's really it. I said, that's what our fans want. That's what they need. And they're like, oh, we're going to be open. Don't you worry. So, yeah, alcohol will be served at the Four Sports. It's supposed to be like not bad, as of now, like no snowstorms or anything like that.
Right, yeah, it's not going to make travel bad. And then when you say this too, let's clarify this. Full bar, we're talking full bar. Now, I know that Tadmore has some booze and they have some stuff. We're talking, you're like, I want a blah, blah, blah. They got a full bar. They will make you a mixed drink. They got shots. They got beer. They got everything. It's not just like 3 or 4 liquors and some mixers. This is that place last time, it was a fully stocked, whatever you want type deal.
Yeah, I'm sure, if you want some mead, maybe they have some mead. I don't know,
Is there going to be any Vikings in
They
the
might not
house?
have
I don't know about
that. They might not have that. They might not have that, but yeah, it's full bar, which, makes for, also a lively experience as well. So, I'm happy about it. Like I said, it's on par for like a big Odeon, turnout, not on par for the Hell on Earths of the last 2 years. And, I'm realistic. I understand, the last 2 Hell on Earths had, Jeff Jarrett last year, and then the last one before that had Kevin Nash and Brook Park.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Those are two guys that are kind of hard to top as far as the meet and greet goes.
Yeah.
So I understand if we're not going to hit that. I would love to, but I don't think we're going to break that largest gate number like we did last year. The largest pre-sale gate in the AIW history. I'll certainly take it if we can. Sure. But I'm realistic about it. I don't know if we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna hit that 500, 600, 700 mark.
If we do, another selling point too, though, another thing that you said, a lot of people, especially about Odeon shows, people hate driving downtown, finding somewhere to park. A lot of parking at Forest Sports, a lot of parking, easy to get in and out of the building. That's not
free
a
parking.
not a free parking, not a big issue to park, which is another. Sometimes, especially with the walk up, you're like, do I want to find a place to park? Yeah, there's a big parking lot. You're good. Park right in the parking lot.
Right. So yeah, I think. I'm hopeful. I'll say that. As of now, we have 8 second row tickets available and 15 third row tickets available. After that, those are the premium seats. If you want a seat, that's it. Otherwise, you're rolling the dice on standing because they don't have chairs. We had to rent chairs, so we rented the exact number of chairs for the premium seating. So, if you're rolling the dice with GA, roll the dice. You know what I mean? I think they have some like 1-2 row bleacher things, like one set of them, if I remember from last year. And other than that, it could be a lot of standing. So yeah, I want to, first and foremost, I want to sell those few remaining premium tickets. And then, hopefully we can really juice up this GA number through, pre-sale and walk up on Friday.
I think we can do it. Especially, let's get into this card here. There's a lot of stuff on this card that I'm pretty intrigued in. Not sure where you want to start, but one thing I know that was mentioned today that, to me, one of the title matches that was mentioned just today, I think, or yesterday, Matt Justice, Kaplan, Dillinger. Intense three-way. That is going to be 3 large men beating the absolute shit out of each other, and I, for one, am here for it. That is a three-way that I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm a little indifferent on three-ways, but, when I'm looking at the available talent, I just kept circling back to these 3, and, I know that they've, wrestled each other in different, incarnations and singles matches and things like that, but Hell on Earth always kind of has that one just wild boy match, you know what I mean? That just can, go off the rails quick. Last year we had Psycho Clown and Matt Justice and PCO and Kaplan. I was looking at it and I said, you know what? Let's just throw them in a 3-way and see what happens. And people seem to be pretty pumped for it.
Well, you look at the match, and it's Matt Justice, a guy who has been the Intense champion, definitely wants to make his way back into the title game in AIW. Kaplan, who holds the Bill Alfonso hardcore belt, would love to be another AIW man with 2 belts at the same time. 2-belt Kaplan? Could you imagine a stogie in his mouth and a belt over each shoulder? He's going to kill somebody to try and get that way. And Derek, just another guy who has been in an absolute car crash friggin' match run. You know what I mean? The guy's been killing himself, Crimson Mask, every other match. So those 3 together in one match is just going to be pure chaos.
And, another interesting thing about this is Eastlake is very close to Kaplan's hometown. So, kind of, home court advantage for him.
He said, I advise you all not to eat much before this match.
Yeah, and I didn't even know how to take that off. What does that even mean?
How do you take that, right? There's a lot of ways that could go.
Yeah. So, he's this is kind of home court advantage for him. I'll never forget, one of the Force Sports employees was like, "Hey, is Ryan Kaplan going to be here? I went to high school with him."
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Hell yeah.
So this is kind of his neck of the woods, and you also got to put Fonzie's going to be in the house.
Oh, love it.
Everybody's favorite as well as Ziggy. Maybe we'll have young Ed come out to the ring with Kaplan or something, so everybody has a manager.
Oh man, I mean young Ed. I know young Ed loves Kaplan, but there's only one man that I think's walking Kaplan out to the ring, and that's Thrift Store Jobber. That's TSJ's guy. He has been a Kaplan man since day one.
Didn't he name his dog Kaplan?
So Crackers Kaplan. It's his last name. So yes, exactly. To answer your question, yes, he named his dog after Kaplan. So that is who I think would be walking Kaplan to the ring is TSJ. We'll have to see if we can put that together so everyone has a corner man. I don't know if TSJ wants to insert himself in that though, because Ziggy and Fonzie have some history there. Does TSJ want to somehow insert himself into that? I don't know if he wants to get in that.
That's the thing that's really intrigued me about putting this together on paper is like even the managers are more than likely going to be bloody, I think. So it's very there's a lot of potential for just bad stuff to happen in this one, and not only with the wrestlers themselves, but with the managers out there as well.
Yeah, it's going to be I can't wait because Ziggy and Fonzie had a goddamn match, so the blood is and it was never like squashed. Like, oh, this is just the match ended, but they still don't like each other. So this could end wildly.
Yeah, and Fonzie's probably going to say some real mean stuff that he probably shouldn't say. Nothing too bad, I'm sure, but bad enough to make people uncomfortable. So looking very much forward to it.
God damn it, though. Nothing will ever top for me the Fonzie moment. There's been a lot of great Fonzie moments in AIW. That's one of my favorite things about this company. But God damn it, when that man signed the poster at the hotel with all the hotel employees, remember in Indianapolis or Indiana, wherever the hell we were, and the hotel had that like commitments to excellence. They all signed their names. Fonzie signed his goddamn name, Hall of Fame.
I think he said hardcore legend or something.
Oh,
I probably have a picture of it on my phone.
I 100% took a photo of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got that photo. Because I made a joke about signing it, like, oh, wouldn't it be funny to sign it? And then the next day we walked by and it said Bill Alfonso, hardcore legend, and it had like a date. Like, yes. Oh, Fonzie's the king.
Another real funny thing that Fonzie did, I'm sure we talked about it on the podcast, I don't know, but we couldn't get food because, it was like the middle of nowhere, Indiana, and during COVID. And Fonzie was in the lobby, and there was like an Uber Eats driver that had like a shit ton of McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'll give you 20. He's like, I'll give you $40 or $20 for it all right now. I just say that you dropped it off wherever it was going. And then like Fonzie just showed up with like all his food that he bought. He just bought off the Uber Eats driver. And I don't know, the guy said that he dropped it off outside the hotel room or whatever.
He walks in with the big bag of McDonald's. He goes, you want a cheeseburger, Daddy? I go, where'd you get this food?
I bought it off the guy in the lobby.
He goes, it's mine now. I got it. And I'm just looking around, and the people that were walking in with him, are like, yeah, it's his. He bought it. Oh, yeah, I love Fonzie. Love him. All right,
back on track.
Speaking of some of the younger guys, we got what is it? We got 1, 2, 3, 6-way here. The Scramble, the AIW Classic Scramble. With the Scramble God himself. How are you inserting Chase in matches here? We need him on the other side of the fence. It's going to be Chase versus Riley Rose versus Sam Holloway, Austin James versus Vic Vice versus Tyson Riggs. Got a 6-way scramble here going.
Yeah, I figured, I'll get Chase on there, and then, he's got to have to learn to multitask, right?
You're not untapping him as a wrestler. He's just got a lot of other things on his plate as well.
He just added on. He doesn't lose. I've given him some shows off. You know what I mean? But he doesn't necessarily lose his the need for him to be a performer on the shows as well.
Very true.
And I could step in and, like I said, last week, people like Dustin have been stepping in and learning a little bit of the production stuff. So, we'll be able to get through. I just need, even if I'm just doing it, for a little bit, I just need the ability to not be glued to that task for the entire day. Because there's just too much what I realized in Akron when he wasn't there is like there's just too much that goes on for me to like have to be glued to that seat and paying attention to that, and also having to like answer and field questions. But I think with so many people on the team that are going to be there on Friday, he certainly can wrestle, and I can step in, or Dustin can step in, or any number of people are going to be learning as we go anyway. So I think we gotta try it sometime, right? Why not? And you can't have a scramble without the scramble god. So
that's what I was gonna say.
Figure it out.
You gotta have the scramble god in there. You know what I mean? So, and this is a big show for some of these younger guys to show what they're made of, and what they're bringing to the table at AIW. Hell on Earth is a marquee show. It's one of our big four. This is a chance for some of these guys, and I think some of them are doing, this Big Sam Holloway, that guy. I mean, he's coming a long way. I like to see where he's coming from. Vic Weiss, a big fan of him. Everybody, all the new students, Austin. I said Austin's one of my favorite. He hails from the Diamonds of Brook Park, and he wears a jersey from a bar owner that's one of my dad's best friends. That guy's got to be like my favorite wrestler, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of all these guys, and they've had, they obviously had the Fresh Meat show, and they've had a couple little, dabbles on shows here and there. But, Hell on Earth, even if it's not bigger than the last 2 years, it's still going to be pretty big, I think. So this is like a good infomercial for these guys to be in front of a bigger crowd. Fresh Meat was mainly their people. J-Lit Night 2, it did okay. It wasn't, what by far wasn't the best attended AIW show in history, and they've been on stuff here and there, like the show in Kent, or Wadsworth. None of these shows were like super high energy AIW crowds or highly attended. They kind of fell right in the middle of that crazy run. So I wanted to take the chance to put these guys in front of a hopefully hot, large wrestling crowd, and let them kind of showcase everything that they can do. And you put them in there with, Chase Oliver and Riley Rose as well, to kind of, keep the train on its tracks, so to speak. And hopefully everyone comes out of the scramble, looking like $1 million. That's the plan.
It's a lot of different styles, a lot of things. I think it's going to be an interesting match with those 6 in there. You're going to see a lot of different styles. I think it's going to be something that kind of, it's going to keep the show moving nice. It'll be a nice little switch up from kind of the other matches.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, coming in next, something I'm very intrigued with. Sometimes, this is going to be a tough one for me. A couple of my teams I like big time. PME versus Members Only. Now, I know PME, they're the bad guys now. They're kind of dickheads, but for whatever reason, man, mean man Philadelphia Collins is just, he's really doing it for me. I love mean Philadelphia. Ever since they turned into Cardona's boys, I don't know, it's just... Sometimes I like to see the bad guys. I can't help it. But those guys versus my guys, Members Only, that's gonna be quite a match. They've faced off quite a few times already.
Yeah, and with that new haircut on Philly too, he looks like he's fresh out of your local correctional institution.
mean man,
looks like he just did some hard time.
Did a bid.
Yeah, it looks like he just did a bid, and in the Lorraine County Correctional or something like that. He just showed up with his haircut like that. I was like, what'd you do? He's like, oh, I don't know, man. Fuck it.
And that's the thing, too. The attitude to match. He's got the attitude. He comes out.
He's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's just giving the finger to the crowd, doing the chin thing that like Uncle Guido taught him. And it's Philadelphia and Marino have been on quite the run here in their bad boy phase, and I love to see it. But them versus Members Only, I think, is going to be quite a banger.
Yeah, and this is another one where, Members Only, also, hometown boy, so to speak.
Yeah, they're from that way.
I know Eastlake is, it's, still, it's like a Cleveland suburb, but, it's still not Cleveland proper. This is, they're from, out in this area, Eastlake area. So, they're also looking to, they're looking to shine in, in their hometown, so to speak. Last year they had a great, huge moment with Double J, and I know they want to kind of keep that Hell on Earth tradition going, where they come out with a huge memory.
Absolutely. Moving forward, we have a AIW debut, I believe. Masha Slamovich, is that her AIW debut? Has she been in AIW before?
Yes, this is her debut. Highly touted independent wrestler right now. She's all over the place. Breaking down the gender barriers in PWG. Who hadn't had a female wrestler, I don't think, since Candice LeRae. All over the place, doing GCW, every indie. I think she's in Impact. Literally, one of the busiest independent wrestlers in the game right now. I wanted to put, I wanted to get a big match or big prospect in there with Jocelyn. You know what I mean? She's always looking for new challenges, and Masha Slamovich seems to be the measuring stick as far as independent wrestling goes right now.
Yeah, I would definitely say she's earned it. She's had quite a few matches against some top people, everyone that comes into AIW. But yeah, like you said, so would that be then kind of the number one person? Everyone's always kind of clamoring for you to bring in women's talent, yada yada. Is that the number one person they've had that's been on the ask list to bring in then?
I don't know. You know what I mean? And no one really specifically asks, bring this person in. You know what I mean? It's just, they want more female talent. And, I just saw this as a good opportunity. I reached out. I didn't reach out. I had a couple different irons in the fire. And, this one wasn't necessarily going to work out because she was booked, on Saturday, and the travel was already handled. So I kind of had to weigh the options on, what I thought the people would want, and I kind of had to eat both legs of the travel, which normally that's like a split thing. But the other flight was already bought and wasn't exchangeable or transferable. So I kind of took the hit for the greater good of the AIW fans. I think that they will thoroughly enjoy seeing Masha Slamovich live, and I think it's a great opportunity and a great test for Jocelyn Navarro, who is the measuring stick as far as AIW women's matches go. She is, and Masha Slamovich is, more the measuring stick nationally. So I think it's going to be a real good experience for both of them, and really, no stakes or anything like that. Just going to tell them to go out there and put on the best match they possibly can.
Awesome. Okay. Moving forward, round 3 for something I'm kind of excited at. Shaw Mason versus Cisco Silver, round 3. These two have put on two hell of a good match, hell of a match twice in a row. I'm very excited to see what round 3 is going to hold.
Yeah, honestly, it was never supposed to be more than that one match at the Winchester, and they did phenomenal. And they did phenomenal with the limitations of the ring and the venue, and you know what I mean. There's a lot of different ways you have to wrestle at a Winchester show, and man, they did just incredible. That was supposed to be a one-off for Cisco. I think he's a real nice guy. He was training with us, and he's trained at other schools, and just really looking for an opportunity. Couldn't, not a nicer guy on the planet, honestly.
Right.
And wanted to give him the one shot, and honestly, that's all it was. And they did so good. I said, you know what, fuck. Like I rebooked the Akron lineup, and I was like, let's do this one again. And they did great. And the original plan was I was just going to have all the new kids from Fresh Meat do the six-pack scramble. But with how good, Cisco and Shaw 2 was, I just kept going back like, man, we gotta go for that rubber match. We gotta go for that third one. And I was like, maybe, we'll save it for a Winchester show or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Let's just put him on the big show, and let's let him loose and see what happens. So, it's really speaks to their, for how young they are and, in AIW and in the business altogether, really speaks to, their talent level. And I know that, they're both highly decorated amateur wrestlers, and that has a lot to do with it as well. But, they forced my hand to bring the match back for a third time, when it was only supposed to be a little one-off filler match on a Winchester show.
Well, I think that's the point too. It was the very first one was such a great show that it was like you couldn't not bring it back to do a second one. And then when they did the second one, that one was good enough to where it was a different. It's not like they just came back out and ran the same first match back again because it was good. Like, let's do that one again. It was different. It was new. You know what I mean? So it was almost like you had to get the third one to see where it was going to finish because they were different. The first and second were so different, but also so very good that you kind of had to run that third back. And what better place than Hell on Earth? Like you said, a big show, a marquee show. I think putting some of these younger guys on it, like Shaw. I know Cisco isn't a younger guy. He's been trained and been around for a little while, but newer to AIW. You kind of put them in that big marquee show and show them, hey, go out there in front of this big crowd and show me what you got. And I think this third match is really going to be something.
Yeah, the Wrestle Rager show was their opportunity to lose, right? Like they could have went out there and just had a match, and nobody would have thought anything of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're new, they're learning. It's they're getting their reps in front of the crowd, and as long as it's not totally awful, nobody would have thought twice about it. But they way over delivered, and they earned themselves 2 more bookings out of it. I know that there's criticisms of Cisco Silver, and I don't think that any of that should, and I'm not going to elaborate on what those criticisms are, but I don't think any of that should impact, how you view somebody's talent inside the ring. And I think, he's more than proved that, he does belong in AIW. And like I said, it was his opportunity to lose, and not only did he not lose it, he gained 2 more matches, and they were able to kind of create this feud out of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. The first time I ever met him was just backstage at a show, and being somebody who came as like a fan and put in the backstage role, it's very easy to pick out when people are new to backstage and maybe even just a fan or somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend or cousin or uncle who walked them in the back there, because I didn't know who he was. He was just back there and it was a show he was not on. But he was just a very nice, genuine guy. He was never like in the way. He never said the wrong thing. He was a straightforward guy. He was a great dude back there. And then all of a sudden, he came on, they had those matches, and I think he's a great guy. I like him a lot. I like Cisco a lot.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward to him, not to put too much pressure on those guys, but I am looking forward to it. And Shaw Mason is super motivated to make it. I don't know if anyone listened to, he appeared on Dustin Alberti's Patreon podcast, Homeschooled, and he is very motivated to make it. He comes from a family lineage of amateur wrestlers, not necessarily a big fan of him making the transition to professional wrestling. So he has a lot to prove, and you can tell he's very hungry to do so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the way as motivated as everyone else is around AIW right now, it's not, it's nice. I like to see that somebody else, just as fired up. Moving forward, another match I'm extremely excited for. 2 of my favorite guys. Another here, sometimes friends fight type of moment for me. Isaiah Big Braun Dog versus Dom Guarini. Isaiah Broner versus Dom Guarini is going to be 2 men beating the absolute shit out of each other. This is going to be one that I'm excited for.
I think this one's been flying under people's radars a little bit. Maybe, it got announced so soon people forgot it was on the card. But,
is there a graphic for this one? I don't remember seeing a graphic for this one. Maybe okay, so maybe it was early on, but yeah, I mean this is gonna be a good one, folks.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of time before, these two were gonna lock horns in a singles a singles situation. There's no storyline, there's no beef, there's no anything else. They're just, two of the big dogs in AIW, and eventually the big dogs got to get in the ring and fight, and that's what this match is. There's nothing more to it than that. No stakes, no anything like that. They're just gonna get in there and they're gonna fight. And this is one that I wanted to put together for the fans because I think I'm not crazy about doing babyface matches, right? But I think with how they wrestle and their the fandom that is within the AEW crowd for these two guys, I think people are going to be with it the whole time and be super excited to watch them, like you said, just get in there and just throw hands.
I think that's sort of it too, and it's almost not even necessarily babyface versus babyface because Broner is very over. He has been over since the moment that guy walked out. I mean, the very first time I saw that guy at the Winchester, I was like, this motherfucker right here is it. This dude is the fucking man. And Dom is a beloved figure in AIW, a badass motherfucker who has been around AIW and beat the shit out of some important people. So it is babyface for his babyface in a sense where everyone kind of likes everyone, but at the same time, there's no storyline like you said, so it's just going to be two men just going out there and blasting each other. And it is going to be, this is one that deserves to be on a Hell on Earth, an absolution. I'm glad that it's on a marquee show because, yeah, it's two juggernauts of AIW about to beat the absolute piss out of each other, and I'm here for it. I'm peeking through the curtain for that one for sure.
Now I'm second guessing myself. I'm going back to see did I announce it?
I swear to God, I think we might be announcing it right here on the podcast because I do not remember seeing a graphic for that.
I could have swore I did, but as you move on to the next one, I'm going to make sure that I send it out right now.
a couple more matches. Josh Prohibition and M Dude Cross versus Bitcoin Boys. This one,
this one has not been announced publicly yet, but this is who PME has selected to face Josh Prohibition and M Dog. Josh said he wanted them to pick their opponents. And this is who they picked. And I think why they picked it is the X Factor in one Mr. the Duke.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen with that man. He is a wild son of a bitch, the Duke. I love him to death, but he is wild. J Pro kind of told you who he was bringing with him, so we knew he would have M Dude, which has kind of almost been his guy. That's their boys. They've been around for decades now, so you kind of knew that's his guy he's bringing with him. But yeah, for PME to select the Duke, or excuse me, for them to select Bitcoin Boys, you got the Duke coming with him. So it's almost a bit of a not cheating, but you get that third member because he ain't getting in there and wrestling, but he's definitely gonna fuck some people up while he's out there.
Yeah, it's like a cheat code, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a 3-on-2 almost.
All right. Did you get that one out there or what?
I'm typing it right now.
Fantastic.
So you keep, I swore that I announced it. I know I put it on the email blast.
Well, see, but fair enough though. This is why you got to listen to the pod. We had a lot of people clamoring. Where's some of these match graphics? Where's the pod? Here, you're getting them both in one. We're getting some announcements here. You're getting some exclusive announcements on the podcast, and you're getting a 2-week podcast in a row. Fair enough. I can't
believe I forgot to announce that one. Well, maybe this one will bump those last couple premium tickets out the door.
I was literally just going to say, if there's anything to get some of those seats left over, if you want to be close enough to this action, it's Dom versus Isaiah Broner. That's for sure. Moving forward, another championship.
I think I was just too distracted with posting photos of the Swamp Man on Twitter and Instagram.
All that coverage they got on Observer too, Tom and all that filthy Tom. Moving forward, like I said, another championship match. We got a couple matches left. Another championship match, bulking season versus 9 to 5. Did we discuss this one already?
We talked a little bit about it because you talked about their promo.
Well, yeah, we brought it up in the beginning, a little bit. But yeah, this is another one that I think 9 to 5 is a team that just they couldn't be denied in AIW. They came out and just seemingly people loved and or hated them.
They've been on a win streak. I think they're undefeated at the Winchester. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I think they've won like 4 or 5 matches in a row. Somebody tweet Wadsworth and have him sound off on that fact that I'm probably wrong on. But I know that they've been on a little bit of a win streak, and they were, when we were looking at it, they were the number one contenders by quite a bit when we were looking at wins and losses and things like that of who we thought should get the shot.
And just like I said, a very polarizing team. Nobody is middle of the road on 9 to 5. If you would talk to an AIW faithful, you'd say 9 to 5. They either love them or hate them. There is no real middle of the road on those two. So you definitely think that's a great challenge for the tag team champs bulking season. You want to see who, they got to face the best of the best in AIW. And like you said, 9 to 5 has been on a tear of a winning streak. It's got to be their work ethic. If you ask me, I'm thinking it's their work ethic. I don't know if that was a little too easy for them.
Yeah, it must be their work ethic.
All right. And moving forward, the final match, the main event of the evening, your absolute champion, Joshua Bishop versus the returning Eric Stevens. They brought this to, Stevens came out and challenged Josh at the last Tadmore Shrine show. And
Josh says he wants to face the best. And he kind of issued an open challenge, and Eric Stevens wasted no time walking right out there and accepting his challenge. So that is going to be your main event for Friday. Another one where I think the people are going to be behind both of these guys. And there's reasons for both of them. I think people think why both of them should win. I think it's going to be split. I think regardless, people will be happy no matter what the result is and who the winner is. So I'm very excited for this. Josh Bishop has been on a tear, but he does not really wrestle people like Eric Stevens that often, and it's really going to be a story of whose match is going to be. If it's breaking down into chaos, obviously Bishop has the advantage there. But, if it's staying between the ropes, you have to think Eric Stevens has quite the advantage.
But not only that, too, now we're at a point where Eric Stevens, man, he hung it up for a bit. He's brought it back. I think Stevens is at a point where it starts to get chaotic as well. You never know what's going to happen with that guy. He's kind of in a fucking all position at this point. So I think Josh has a real test. If anyone in AIW, I think, can go up against it and take care of business, it's, Joshua Bishop, no survivors. But Eric Stevens is a bad man, and I think those two... Josh has had a lot of great matches. He's had a lot of great title defenses. There's been a lot of wild matches, but this is one I think that a lot of people are looking forward to. I know there's a lot of fans of Eric Stevens. The guy's been around. He's done a lot of shit. He's wrestled a lot of big names, so there's a lot of people who want to see him in AIW more.
I think he's hungry. I think there's a great story, a great comeback story in there. I think that there's a great story for Josh Bishop to overcome, one of the great independent wrestlers. So this is what's interesting to me. You know what I mean? Eric Stevens can walk out. It's the big redemption story. Josh Bishop walks out, and it's, he doesn't have to wrestle one type of match. It shows he's more versatile.
I think he wins this match, and Josh is really showing you that anybody and everybody can walk through that curtain, and he's going to handle business. I think, but then again, like you said, it's Eric Stevens is a guy who's been around. He's wrestled some incredible names. So if anyone's ready to take on that challenge and come to AIW, have that belt, and talk some shit as a champion of AIW, you can bet your ass it's Eric Stevens.
Right. I think it's interesting. I think it's a toss up as far as, who could win and who people think could win. And that's what's so interesting to me. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not a dead ringer for either one of these guys.
Right.
And that's what I thought looked great about this one on paper. really just a strong main event to close out, our longest running annual event in AIW history.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, that card we just ran down for you, go get those tickets. Buy up the last couple rows. You don't want to be standing. You want to have a seat. If you got to go GA if they sell out. But you got to be in the building, obviously. But if you can get a seat, I would get a seat. I don't know. I'm lazy. My legs are terrible. That's why they call me two legs. They both are pieces of shit. They don't work very well. So I like to sit down. Maybe that's me pushing the seats because I like to sit. But if it was me, I'd want a seat to see some of this incredible action. That's a lot of. It's not crazy, we're not strapping you in for like the longest show ever, but it's not, you're not getting 5 matches and out either. I think it's going to be a great night of wrestling.
Yeah, I think it's 10 total.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, I think 10 total. Yeah, so no dark matches or anything. We're just going balls to the wall. I think every match has great potential. I highly, encourage you to attend live if you can. But if you cannot, please watch us on Fight Plus on Friday. It's only $4.99. It's a free trial. I think we only get paid if you get into the payment portion of that free trial. I don't know how that works exactly. But yeah, use the free trial. Stay on board for at least a month. It's $4.99. If you don't like it, you know what I mean. You can cancel it, but I would prefer if you kept the subscription, like your Shudder subscription that you probably have and forget to watch for 6 months at a time.
Speaking of yourself, there, Mr. Thorne.
Yeah, that's me.
Well,
to a T.
Let's go here. I mean, I know this has been announced at least to the Patreon. I was pretty sure it was on Facebook. I mean, talking about keeping that subscription for more than a month. Coming up next month in December, the Bad Boy returns. The graphic that was put out. This man's shoving skewers through his damn face. That's worth sticking around for December to maybe check out Fight TV Plus through December. I would think you got Joey Janela coming back next month. That's plenty of the reason to keep your subscription for more than this trial period, right?
Right, and we're at the Odeon next month, last show of the year. Hopefully, we're gonna end it with a packed house, and we are gonna. I don't know. I'm really excited to close out with 2 really, hopefully big shows. We wanna definitely fill the seats and get that AIW atmosphere fully captured for not only Fight TV but the performers. I think AIW is always regardless of what I think can improve or be better in the in-ring, I think the atmosphere is really what makes the company. I think we have some of the wildest, loudest, most interactive fan bases in all of independent wrestling, and that's what I'm most looking forward to. I would love to see a big, loud crowd on Friday, and as well, the Odeon just has such a special feel to it. I would love to close out the year, strong.
Well, let's do it, folks. We had a hell of a 2022 run. We had a great summer. Let's finish out the year strong. Let's get to Hell on Earth. If you can't get to Hell on Earth, Fight TV Plus. And then next month at the Odeon, let's fill the Odeon and end this year with a bang. John, I'll see you next Friday. Excuse me, this Friday. I'll see you in 3 days.
Friday.
This Friday. 3 days from now.
I don't think I'll see you next Friday.
Yeah,
this
right.
Friday.
All right, everyone else, we'll see you there this Friday, Black Friday, Hell on Earth 17 at Eastlake Force Sports. We'll see you guys there.
Full bar.
Full bar. Oh, I'm taking advantage after the show, that's for sure.
Yeah, because there's a wellness policy there. Steve Guy got too drunk at WrestleRadio. Now there's a wellness policy for the whole company.
See ya.
He's going to yell at me for that.